Hey everyone, Donovan from CavFab. Today we're going to be installing our winch bumper on the front of our XJ. Pretty cool bumper, fully modular. You add anything, any accessory you want at any time. You don't have to buy it a certain way all up front. If you want to buy just a stubby bumper, you can just do that, mount your winch in it. You want to add the hoop or the stinger on it later on, you can do that as well. You want to make it a full width, we sell those separate. So it's really cool in that aspect, and it's really stout. We've had a lot of great success with this. A lot of our customers like these. So I'm excited to show you guys the install video. Let's get started. All right, so a few things before we get started. We want to make sure we've got the right tools. We want to totally remove the front bumper. We've got frame stiffeners already on our Jeep, so we took the little core support gussets that are underneath there. We took those off, not really needed. But our bumper, if you do have those on there, our bumper tie-in plates, they do accommodate that. So that little relief right there gives you the clearance that you need to get around the core support braces that mount up underneath here. Again, it's not really necessary. So that's all gone. The front bumper completely removed. So a few of the tools that you're gonna need to get this on here. So we've got really basic tool set here. Got a 9/16 socket, got a 5/8 socket and box end wrench, got a 3/4 inch box end wrench, got another 3/4 deep well socket and shallow. All the hardware that we need here, everything's there. So one of the things that I really like, it's all grade 8 hardware, so it's way overkill. You've got a lot of mounting points that attach it to the frame, so we'll go over that once we're installing it. One quick thing before we start mounting this: so if you do not have frame stiffeners on your XJ or on the front of your XJ, you're going to have two 3/16 inch thick spacers that go in between the frame rail and the bumper. So they're going to have 3 holes. You'll be able to match them up with these holes right here, and they'll just slip right in between the frame rail and the bumper, so on both sides. But if you've got frame stiffeners on the front of your XJ like we do, you don't need those. Start by putting our tie-in plate on the passenger side frame rail. You're going to have 3 long 1/2 inch bolts that go in these holes right here. So we're not going to worry about any of these other ones right now. We're just going to do these right now. Got our 3/4 ratchet and socket we're going to use to tighten these up. We're not going to tighten them all the way. We're going to wait until the last to get everything tight. let's move to the passenger side, or the driver's side. On the driver's side, you're gonna have to remove your steering box bolts and replace them with the ones that we supply. They're a little bit longer, account for frame stiffeners, the tie-in plates. So you need to get these stock steering box bolts out. So we're gonna do that right now. You're gonna want something to support the steering box with, a floor jack, a jack, something to just kind of hold it in place, make it a little bit less of a pain in the butt. All right, so we've got the 3 longer steering box bolts that we're going to use. We're going to get this tie-in plate positioned up here. So the next thing, we're ready to actually fit the front bumper on the front of the Jeep. So I've got a third hand here. You can do it, definitely do it by yourself. It's not that big of a deal. This is just gonna make it a little bit easier for me to show you guys putting it together, how it's gonna go, and all that. So we're gonna put 2 of our shorter 1/2" bolts into these holes right here, and that's what we're gonna do to get started. You may have to drill these holes out, not the tie-in plates, but the actual holes on the Jeep. You'll probably have to drill these out for 1/2" bolts. So before you even get the tie-in plates or anything on, go ahead and get those drilled out just to make sure that you've got the right hole size. So if you've got the modular side pieces for a full width version, you're going to want to make sure that before you put any of the bolts in on the side here, They're attached by the same bolts that mount it to the frame and the bumper itself. So you want to go ahead and get these put on. You can do it before you even get this far, or you know, just wait. So you have two different length 1/2 inch bolts. The longer ones go in right here. So you're going to put the longer bolts in these 3 holes right here. So the shorter ones are going to be, if you get the optional full width, that's going to mount up here. Those are going to be the 2 that mount up in the front. Alright, so we've got all of our 1/2 inch bolts. We've got our frame tie-ins. We've got those in place. We've got the wings mounted on both sides. So now we're gonna go ahead and get everything lined up and get it all level and get all those bolts tightened down. That way we can put the winch in, the fair lead on, the hoop on, and get everything else buttoned up on the front of this. And I couldn't wait to put the winch in and then put the tube and stuff on. Like I had to see the whole, get a sneak peek of the whole deal together. So this looks sick. Little bit biased, but it's hard to beat that. The bull bar on the front, it's tough. All right, now that we've got our bumper mounted up, we're gonna go ahead and get the fair lead mounted in place before we put the winch in, and then we'll go ahead and get the winch in there, put the tube on. So let's get the fair lead mounted up. Alright, once you've got your winch mounted, your flat link or whatever kind of hook you've got mounted, your winch is bolted down, all the bumper bolts are tight, your steering box bolts are tight. It's going to be time to run the winch cables and hook up the power, and you're all set after that. That wraps up today's install for the XJ Modular Front Winch Bumper. If you've got questions, drop us a comment below. Let us know what you think. We really think you're going to love this bumper. It's got a lot of awesome features, ridiculously strong.